Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The course is IE 484 Communication Systems. It is being offered in 6th semester. Now we are having lecture 1 relate in week 1. So first of all we will have a look over the course objectives, then course outline, then the textbook and the recommended books. So basically the main objective of this course is to build up the knowledge related to the main elements of the communication system. A communication system actually comprises of transmitter, channel and receiver. And further, we will elaborate each section one by one in the mentioned course outline. Moreover, we are not only limited to analog communication systems, but we will also work towards discrete communication systems and other concepts related to information theory and transmission channels. So basically, the course outline is the main part is related to introduction to information theory and communication system. Basically, here we will have a look over discrete communication systems in which we will see that what are the main concepts of information theory and how we can overcome channel errors by including channel coding, and also the data source can be compressed using source coding. And we will not only work towards the transmitter side but the counterpart towards the receiver side related to decoding of this source coding, and source decoding and channel decoding would also be there. Second part would refer to the noise concepts. Basically, whenever a signal is transmitted, the signal always passes through certain channel, and within that channel there is a chance that noise would be added to it. So different types of noises would be covered in this section. Later, the third section relates with the analog communication system, and it somehow more focused towards the modulation side. We will have not only AM modulation but also we will have frequency modulation and phase modulation with us. Then the last part, the fourth part is related with discrete time communication systems. Here we will have a look over pulse amplitude modulation techniques that would be used in discrete time systems. Then for multiplexing we have TDM and FDM, time division multiplexing and frequency division multiplexing, quantization of the signal that would be required for transmission of a digital signal, and then pulse code modulation. And last one is related with the transmission channels. So basically, we may have different transmission channels with us, guided and unguided. So in case of guided transmission channels, we will cover the transmission line theory, and later on for unguided mediums, we would have radio wave propagation. Additionally, antenna concepts would also be provided in this section. So the textbook is Modern Digital Analog Communication System by BP Lati. The latest edition we have to follow it, and the recommended books that may also be considered are from Simon Heiken and by George Kennedy. And these are the course learning outcomes. We have three CLOs for this. Number one is comprehend the basics of information theory, noise, analog and discrete time communication system. CLO 2 refers to compare continuous AM, FM and pulse modulation. And third one is related with the psychomotor, that is with practical, and in practical we will have both the parts, simulation part and experimental practice with us. Now we will start. First, the introduction to communication system is given. What are the main elements of a communication system? The main elements of a communication system can be seen from this block diagram. Number one is transmitter, then your channel, and then your receiver. But sometimes before transmitter we may have some source also needed, and this source may be from maybe either an analog source or digital source, and this source may be obtained either from a mic, from a text message, or it may be a certain video signal. So basically source may be an analog or digital, and later you will see here the information that is obtained that needs to be transmitted basically can be an audio signal, it may be an image, it may be a text, or it would be in the form of digital data. And this information source may be either a microphone, camera, keyboard, and whatever be it. Then comes the next part, that is your transmitter. So basically a transmitter contains a transducer, amplifier, modulator, oscillator, power amplifiers, and antenna. What are these for? Transducer. The main job of transducer is to convert a signal from a source into an electrical signal. So basically an audio signal that is coming from your mic may be converted. Mic would be just a transducer that would convert it into an electrical signal, but that signal would be very weak. That's why you will need an amplifier for it. Then modulator, oscillator would be required, power amplifiers, and antenna. So what are they for? It can be understood from here. So basically the main job of a transmitter is to convert source information into a signal that may be transmitted through the channel. To convert the process baseband. Baseband signal means original signal that is without modulation, and into a frequency band that is appropriate for transmission medium of the channel. Basically the channel decides that at which frequency the signal would be transmitted. For example, if the channel is your coaxial cable, or it may be a fiber optic, or it may be an open space, then the respective frequency would decide that what how this transmitter would work for it. This transmitter would pre-process that signal that would be suitable to pass through this channel so that it may be received at the receiver. If you are just having an open space for transmission, then you will need an antenna for it. So basically the output for transmitter may be not directly connected with the channel through a cable, or it may be through an antenna that would be present here after the transmitter, and from that antenna the electromagnetic waves would be transferred through this channel to the receiver. One important function that goes on within a transmitter is the modulation. So basically what is modulation? Modulation is the process of impressing information onto a high frequency carrier for transmission. For example, if I am talking, my speech signal would be just from a speech signal has a band of almost from 30 to almost 3.3 kilohertz. So this 30 hertz to 3.3 kilohertz is a very low frequency signal, and this speech signal is tried to be transmitted directly into the air. That would not be feasible. We will see later how why it would not be feasible. Then what we'll do, we will just have this would be a low frequency signal, and this low frequency signal after modulation would be converted into signal. So basically the main job of modulation is to convert a low frequency signal into a high frequency signal. What is the purpose? The purpose can be understood by simply like this. For example, if I have to travel from Karachi to Islamabad, then if I just start walking, it would take a very long time. But if I use an aeroplane that would be moving at a very high speed, then the signal would be conveniently reach the receiver destination in a very small interval of time. So the same job is being done by the modulation. The low frequency signal is not feasible to be transmitted into the space. That's why we need some modulation techniques, that is to make the signal compatible for the channel so that it may be received at the receiver. So the reasons for modulation, number one is to prevent mutual interference between stations. What does it mean? How this mutual interference is avoided? Actually, whenever a signal is modulated, a carrier signal is required. And this carrier signal is varied from station to station. Let's suppose if I am having an FM signal with me, then for different FM signal, we may have different carrier frequencies. For example, if I am having a FM 100 channel, it means, what does it mean? FM 100. FM 100 means the carrier frequency here is 100 megahertz. It means my voice signal is frequency model. FM is for frequency modulator, is frequency modulated over which frequency? Over 100 megahertz. So this 100 megahertz would be called as carrier frequency. Okay. So it means for different channel, for different stations, different carrier frequencies would be used. So that's why for different carrier frequencies, the interference would be avoided. Because, for example, if I'm singing a song, another person is also singing a song, all will have the same speed signal, that would be from 30 to 3.3 kilohertz. But for me, the carrier frequency would be different. For another person, the carrier frequency would be different. So this would prevent mutual interference between stations, because all signals are transmitting either voice signal or audio signals. So if they are just transmitting voice signal, they would be, speech means voice. Okay. If I just call it speech or voice, both mean same. The speech signal always is in between 3.330 to 3.3 kilohertz. So it means if I am talking or some other person would be talking, in both the cases the signal would be between 30 to 3.3 kilohertz. How would it be differentiated? So this mutual interference, because all both the signals are being transmitted in an open space, so they may just mix with each other. So how this interference is avoided? The interference is avoided that I will use a separate carrier frequency and he and she will use a separate carrier frequency. And same is the case for the audio signals also. The audio band, audio signal means what? Audio signal is actually your voice plus music, because voice is having 30 to 3.3 kilohertz, but an audio signal will have a band till almost 15 to 20 kilohertz, because our ears can not only listen the speech signal, they may also listen some music. We can also hear thunder voice, we can also hear some beat noise. So basically your audio band, audio is related with your ears, speech is related with your vocal cord. So this audio signal will have a more bandwidth as compared to your voice signal. Okay. Voice signal relates with our vocal cord, whatever we speak, but audio signal relates with our ear, listening capability. So listening capability is more as compared to speech capability, because we not only listen the speech signal, but we may also listen some music, some thunder voice, some beat drum, and whatever be that. So basically the audio signals would be within this band. So the modulation, purpose of modulation is to prevent, to avoid mutual interference between stations. Each station would have a separate carrier frequency with it. And second is to reduce the size of the antenna required. This may be understood from the later slides. Here, it is mentioned that why do we need modulation or demodulation. So basically a voice signal is there, it is coming from microphone and then passing through a transmitter, and then this is an antenna sign, and that it is being just transmitted through an antenna. The signal is between 20 to 20 hertz or 20 kilohertz between. Then if we try to just transmit this signal directly into the air, the thing is what, antenna size always relates with the wavelength. Okay, so it means higher wavelength means higher antenna size, lower wavelength means lower antenna size. And later this wavelength relates inversely with your frequency. If your signal frequency is less, then naturally your wavelength would be more. And if wavelength would be more, then antenna size may be, as a thumb rule, taken as 0.1 lambda. So if for example c is your speed of light, so if for example 3 kilohertz signal, if I try to find the wavelength, it would be c upon f, 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 3k. So that would be 10 ki power 5, that is 100 kilometer. And this 100 kilometer would be the wavelength. And what we have said, that the antenna size is approximately always 1/10 or zero point 0.1 of the wavelength. So this 100 kilometer, 10%, sorry, this zero point 0.1 or 10% of this 100 kilometer would be 10 kilometer. So you can see that to transmit a signal of 3 kilohertz signal, we will need an antenna that would be 10 kilometer length size. So this is infeasible that we will have such a long antenna with us. So what we will do, we will increase the frequency. When we will increase the frequency through modulation, then naturally the wavelength would reduce, and when wavelength would be reduced, then your antenna size would be reduced. So what is the another purpose, main job for modulation is to have, to reduce the length of the antenna, to reduce the dimension of your antenna. Okay, so when the frequency would be more, wavelength would be less. Wavelength would be less, antenna size would be less. And similarly, okay, if for example frequency is reduced, sorry, frequency is increased, then wavelength would be reduced, which would, and when wavelength would be reduced, it means what, means antenna size would be reduced. Okay, so this is the main job of your modulation. Okay, so there are several different types of modulation. Some would be used in the form of analog modulation, whereas some would be related with digital modulation. Here AM is amplitude modulation, FM is frequency modulation, PM is phase modulation. Okay, so what this AM means, it means amplitude of the carrier would be varied in accordance with the signal strength. Okay, in case of AM, what happens, amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with the strength of the signal. Okay, it means more the amplitude of the signal, more the amplitude of the carrier. And similarly, FM would be what, FM would be what, frequency of the carrier. Okay, frequency of the carrier is varied in accordance with the strength of the signal. And later the last one, that is your phase modulation. Then what happens, now phase of the carrier, okay, is varied in accordance with your strength of your message signal. So these three would be called as analog modulation. Okay, and later, got this thing? The analog modulation would be of three types: AM, FM and PM. Either you would have a change in the amplitude of the carrier, or change in the frequency of the carrier, or change in the phase of the carrier accordingly with the strength of the signal. Whereas in case of digital modulation, you may have different types also. So here, in case of digital modulation, what happens? ASK. ASK stands for amplitude shift keying. Okay. Then FSK is frequency shift keying, and last one, that is PSK, is your phase shift keying. What this keying means? Here still your change in amplitude would occur, but the change in amplitude would be just two. There are only just two amplitude values that would be attained, because in case of digital signal you are having either 0 or 1. So for example, if you are having a 0, you are having, let's suppose, for example, for 0 to transmit, amplitude is 5 volt, and for 1 to transmit, then let's suppose amplitude for 0, let's suppose take it as 0 rather than 5. So for 0 to transmit, amplitude is 0 volt, and for 1 to transmit, amplitude is 5 volt. It means we are just having two amplitudes, 0 and 5 in case of ASK, whereas in case of AM, the amplitude would be continuously varied over a certain range. It may be from 0 to 5 volt, it may be 0.1, it would be 1 volt, 1.1 and so on. But here it is discrete, either 0, either 5 volt, nothing in between them. And same is the case with frequency. In case of analog modulation, the frequency is varied over a certain range. Let's suppose from 90 megahertz to 100 megahertz. So it means any frequency value can be taken from there. But in case of FSK, you would only have two frequency values. For 0 to transmit, let's suppose you are having 100 kilohertz, and for 1 to transmit, you are having 105 kilohertz. Okay, and same is the case with phase shift keying. So again, with phase shift keying, only you will have two phase shifts. For example, to transmit 0, you are having 0 phase shift, and to transmit 1, you are having 180 degrees phase shift. So this would be your digital modulation. Last one is QAM. QAM stands for quadrature amplitude modulation. Quadrature means what? Quadrature means 4. So not necessarily in case of digital we will have only 0 and 1. We may have, digital means actually discrete. Discrete means a set of distinct symbols that are countable. So we may have four symbols maybe to transmit, and in case of QAM, it means you will have four amplitude levels that would be transmitted through this QAM modulation. Okay, is it okay? Then comes the receiver. So in case of receiver, the here the receiver is what? When the signal, sorry, before receiver the channel would come. The output of the transmitter, that is the modulated amplified signal, would be passed through a channel. The channel may be a wired cable, coaxial, twin lead, that you mostly encounter at your house. Then your fiber optic cable may be there, or it may be just atmosphere. And what happens here? So based on this type of channel does not pass the signal that is at the input just as at the output. There is some degradations. within the channel. Degradations means what? Degradations means either attenuation, noise, interference, or distortion. Basically, these are the effects that are introduced when a signal from a transmitter passes through the channel before it appears at the receiver. It means the signal would be changed. Either it would be attenuated. Attenuated means what? Attenuated means the signal strength would be reduced when it passed through a channel. To this attenuation would be due to some power dissipation. It may be, if it is an open space, then this attenuation would be because radio wave signal may just strike any high rise building. It may strike or reflected or refracted from trees, or it may be due to some Doppler effect. If you are moving, then the signal strength would be reduced. So reduction in signal strength would be called as attenuation. Okay. So degradation would be either of these four types. Okay. Then the first one, attenuation, as we have seen. Attenuation is what? Reduction in strength. Then comes noise. Okay. Then comes noise. What is noise? Noise is the addition of unwanted random signal into transmitted signal. It means whatever is transmitted, some signal would be unwanted add to it, and this signal would be random. What this random means? Random means that is not predictable. Means we cannot predict what would be the amount, what would be the frequency, how this unwanted signal would be like that. So noise would be always random signal that would be added into the actual signal, that is your transmitted signal. Okay. Whereas interference is also an unwanted signal. But this unwanted signal would be a known rather than it would be random. What does it mean? For example, if the signal is being transmitted and it passes through over the transmission line, so maybe possible 50 hertz signal due to AC mains would be added to it. So this is addition of known unwanted signal. And what does it mean? It means the frequency would of the signal would be known to us, the amplitude of the signal may be known to us, so this interference would be there. For example, the cross talking you have encountered, whenever if we just talk and some other person is also talking, we just hear some unwanted signal, that would be interference, not noise, because you know the signal that is being added is also a voice signal. Its frequency would be between 30 to 3.3 kilohertz, and sometimes this 3.3 kilohertz is taken as round off to 4 kilohertz. Okay. So the main difference between noise and interference is what? Noise is random, interference is known. It is not random. Okay. It is unwanted known signal. But both of them are unwanted. We don't need them. They are extra added to our actual signal. But noise would be random, interference would be unwanted. Now comes the thing. If a signal is attenuated, how we would overcome this attenuation? What we will do to overcome the attenuation? Always amplification is done to encounter attenuation. Why? Because when the signal strength has been reduced, again you would amplify it, then you will get your signal strength back. So amplification is required to encounter what? To encounter attenuation. How this noise is removed? The noise is removed through filters. And similarly, interference would also be removed using filters. Okay? It is also removed with filters. And last comes your distortion. What is distortion? Distortion is actually change in wave shape. Okay? And this change in wave shape cannot be removed through filters. It cannot be removed through amplifiers, but you will use equalizers. Okay? Equalizers are used to overcome what? To overcome distortion. So these are the main difference, because whenever the signal is passed through the channel, the possibility is that the wave shapes is changed. So to restore the again the same wave shape, then the signal is passed through the equalizers to overcome this. So all these things, amplifiers, filters, equalizers, where they would be present? They would be present in your receiver. So that's all for today. Then we will continue for the next one. We will do the receiver the next time.